So for those of you who are here, be advised that we are recording this for later viewing by those who could not attend, but who would like to inform themselves in advance of the organization meeting, which, by way of reminder, is happening on September 22nd at Stewart Park, where the actual election for which this is a preparation will take place. This forum is a mandate of the bylaws of the Tompkins County Democratic Committee. When there is a contest for a position and it's known ahead of time, the bylaws require that a forum be held at least a week before the meeting in order for people to have an opportunity to inform themselves about their candidates. This is, in effect, a job interview. The format today, there'll be opening and closing statements. The candidates both have a couple, well, they have 3 minutes apiece to say what they wish. And then we'll go into the questions. And if you have questions that you'd like to add to those that I already have accumulated ahead of time, just put them in the chat and we can add them to the queue. And with that, I guess everybody should know the position in contest is that of treasurer, with both Laurie Gardner, our current treasurer, and Ariel interested in serving in that capacity. And I did a coin toss to see who'd get to go first, and Ariel won. So Ariel.
Joel, my name is Ariel Casper, and I'm running for the position of treasurer in the TCDC. Thank you to Joel, Liz, and Jen, the elections committee, for selecting us and making this possible, and to Linda and Stacy for being our chair and vice chairs. It's an honor to be here and have this opportunity. Yeah, I'm running because I think I can do a competent job and bring some energy to the position. I have 2 years of college level finance courses. My dad's an entrepreneur and I've helped him with his books throughout my life. And I run my own business and do the books for that. So I have a lot of finance experience. I've done reporting to the state with, I was a campaign manager for a race, and I did all of those finances as well and did the reports there. I'm also a team player. I've worked in groups and collaborated with people, and I've taken leadership training through TC3 and other courses. I'm currently working to receive my project management certification through the Project Management Professionals. And I'm really a good organizer, team player, and can bring a lot of skills to this position. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good opening. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd just like to start by kind of talking about myself and introducing myself a little bit. I've been politically active since I was 18 and volunteered for McGovern. In high school, I was concerned about the environment, which was worse than now, since people dumped raw sewage and waste into the lakes and rivers. I wrote letters to strengthen bottle and can recycling and convinced the student council to set up bins outside the grocery store to collect recyclables. I lobbied in the 80s and 90s with what was then the lesbian gay lobby. Back then, even the Dems didn't want us darkening their doors. The LGBT community has won the right to marry, but the Supreme Court is poised to take it back, as they have with abortion rights. I was in Oklahoma during the early 80s. When I mentioned that I was attending an ERA rally, I was told I might get various foodstuffs thrown at me. We are still trying to pass the ERA. The sufficient number of states have now ratified the ERA, but for some reason, an amendment adding women to the Constitution has a time limit that no other amendment had. I proudly campaigned for Ferraro as she ran for VP on the Democratic line, but it was nearly 40 years before we saw a woman VP. Elizabeth Cady Stanton said that she would not grow conservative with age. Though she worked all her life and never had the vote, I don't think I have become more conservative, but my idealism has been tempered by experience. This is why I now label myself a practical liberal. I believe that real change happens slowly and you just have to keep fighting for it. It's a long, unfinished battle, and I still wish to do all I can to continue the fight. This is why I've been a staunch Democrat all my adult life. While anything comprised of humans is imbued with their imperfections, I believe the Democratic Party is the best means to move our country forward. When I first joined the committee, I used to pick one campaign each year and assume a major role in it. When I became ill with chronic fatigue syndrome, I no longer had the energy to help the party in this way. I have been grateful to serve as your treasurer for all these years. It is one task that I can manage with my disability, since it allows me to perform most of the work at home and pace myself. It has been a way for me to continue to help elect Democrats. I humbly ask for your support to continue to allow me to contribute to the party as treasurer.
Thank you, Lori. I was somewhat remiss in not pointing out that Catherine Hunter is serving here as our timekeeper, and Cynthia Menino is managing the questions in the background. And we'll post them as they are promulgated, I guess I could say, as we proceed. So on to the questions. And how should we do this?
Joel,
Yes,
before you do, we're 2 minutes on the questions, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we can go back to Ariel first. First question is, why do you want to be treasurer? And what do you have to offer that would make you a good choice for the position?
Thank you, Joel. Why do I want to be treasurer? I think I do a good job. I would, yeah, I do a good job. It's, you know, I'm good with numbers. I'm also have the ability to learn. I know how to YouTube things. It was a few, what was it, 3 or 4 meetings ago, like I've just been disappointed every time at the general meeting that the treasurer report gets up there and it doesn't seem to be in a recognizable finance report type. It was like in a Word document for a long time, and that upset me. There was always some sort of issues with it. And I can't find it online anywhere. I think there could be a few little tweaks and changes to it that could, bring it up to, current date with how I've seen other treasurer reports be done in other programs and places. So what do I bring? I bring maybe a new perspective to it. I mean, it's a finance report, so there's only so many ways to do it, but there's proper ways to do it, and I could probably figure those out and learn how to do it and communicate. Thank you, Catherine. Communicate that widely throughout the group. So that's what I got.
Thank you. Lori?
Yeah, well, as I just said at the end of my thing, it is a way I've learned through experience how to do the job better as I go along. And it's something that I can do with my disability. It's a way I can continue to contribute to the party. And in response to Ariel, we aren't a business. We aren't a service organization. We're a political organization, and we have and things come in and go out in different ways than they do in other organizations. We function. Money comes in mostly at the first half of the year and goes out at the last half of the year. Things. We're not a business, and I think the treasurer's report is perfectly understandable. And if people have concerns about it, they should give me a call and talk to me on the phone about how it's what they want to see in it, or what their concerns are, and we can discuss it. But
Okay. On to the next question. Lori, why don't you start off on the next one? I'm going to combine two of these here. How do you envision yourself working collaboratively with other TCDC committees like the Finance Committee, Political Action Committee, or the Events Team?
I don't think I have to work with the Political Actions Committee. They work, they, that's not a job the treasurer really has to do. The treasurer works with the Finance Committee. We meet, we have always met once a year to do the budget. And a lot of that is understanding how the committee functions, what our needs will be, and anticipating what our needs might be so that we can develop the budget. And that's mostly the only thing we have to deal with the Finance Committee. What was the third committee?
Well, I would just like, such as, so I mean, the three that were mentioned were finance, political action, and events.
Yeah, well, I do work closely with the Events Committee. I have set up Act Blue so that Susie can see when contributions come in for it. And yeah, but some committees don't really have anything directly to do with finance or funds.
Right. Ariel?
I think he runs everything around me. So I envision the finance person being involved at some level with probably everybody. Most organizations have money issues, money things, collect money, think about money, plan things with money. So I believe, if I need to be there, I'll be there at any level, at any time. But I do believe that, financials and finance has a very strong undercurrent in any organization. And usually it happens because of money. So, yeah, I believe there'd be the ability to closely and quickly collaborate with any finance person that has the position and have their input. And people should be able to know what the finances are quickly. Maybe have Google Docs that are accessible to all the committee members, have the ability to take money if anything. So yeah, no, I envision lots of collaboration.
Next question is related. How do you envision presenting the budget to the membership at the meetings? And would it change? Or does it matter whether it's in person or in a Zoom meeting? And you can go on that one, Ariel.
How do I present? I would like to have it up in a Google Docs. I'd like it to be in one of their Google Sheets, so it's in a spreadsheet. I'd like everybody to be able to get in there and view it beforehand. If it's in person, project it, obviously, or have printouts if that's required, but I'd rather not print anything. And just have it be available in whatever format a person needs it, because it should be, we have the ability to have it anytime, anywhere, and that's the way it should be. So that's.
Lori?
The document is sent out with the meeting notice to every member. And I mean, and it's sent out in PDF form that anybody can open. Everybody can't open a spreadsheet, but everybody can, almost everybody I think can open an Adobe document. And that's why it's sent out in PDF form so that it's accessible to everyone.
Does it make a difference to you how it's presented, if it's in person or Zoom?
Well, if we had an in-person meeting, I would print it out so that they could have it again. They would have received it with the meeting notice, and then I would print it out, because frankly, even if we have an in-person meeting, like we have an in-person meeting at Stewart Park, there's nothing to project it on. People really need to have access to something they can hold on to there. So we used to provide printed out copies when we met in person.
Yes, we do. Switching focus a little bit here. As your treasurer, you're an integral part of the TCDC leadership team. What do you think are the biggest challenges, a couple, facing our committee as a whole, and how would you want to address them? Go to you.
Is this me first?
Yeah.
I don't think that, I mean, this job is not so much a policy-making position, and I'm not here to address what concerns the, I mean, my voice will be there if something comes up, but I consider my voice to be, I'm the chief financial officer. My job is to be concerned about the funds that come in, the funds that go out, and whether or not we might not, and no, I will talk to Linda and say, hey, we need to raise more money, or we need to, or be a little more careful with spending. And I pay the bills. When people send me bills, I pay them. This is the job. It's not, and it's, I'm not trying to push the committee in any one direction.
Ariel?
Greatest issues facing the committee. I think like possibly intergenerational differences is a big issue facing the committee. Our committee is very homogenous as well. You know, there's some fairly big and as a person in a leadership position, I would hope to try to make the TCDC more inclusive and more equitable across the board. You know, I know it would be as a treasurer, you're not a you know, out there figure as a leader, but you know, you're still a leader of the TCDC. And if anyone came to me and asked me a question, I'd be there to help them and try to bring them up instead of trying to push them out. It would be something that, you know, I really believe strongly in the spirit of rotation. I think that people should have a position, then step down gracefully and bring in the next generation to allow them to try to party forward. You know, I am one of the youngest people on the committee. And, you know, it's very interesting being one of the youngest people. I've probably maybe been the youngest person on the committee. I've seen other people pop in and pop out, but I've only been here 4 short years, and you know, it's kind of lonely down here. So I really hope to bring this spirit and show that other people, younger people of my generation, can get involved in the TCDC and, you know, be a part of this great organization. That's all I got.
Well, the next question is in the same vein. What is your vision for the TCDC?
That we continue on. You know, as I talk to younger people, my kids, like, they don't really have any interest in being a Democrat anymore. It is a, you know, seen as a pretty old and uncool party. You know, there's no interest in it. You know, politics is like kind of dirty. I'd hope to bring a sense of, this is cool. Like, we can get involved and actually do something instead of like argue about a lot of stuff. You know, I believe in a lot of direct action stuff. I would hope to bring the to the leadership level and, you know, try to get some movement. You know, that's how I feel.
In your vision, Lori?
It's like it's always been for what, 40, 50 years. You know, is, well, not 50, I guess, but is to see the Democratic Party continue to move forward and to win. And especially now, it's important that we beat the Republicans and keep Republicans out of office. They've become very dangerous, and I believe that we should be working together. And I have some problems with some of the ageism that I'm seeing, but it's not ageism, but it's people who seem to think that older people have nothing more to contribute.
Yes.
And I find that a little bit offensive. You know, and I think we should be working together and not, and we need to work on that a lot more, is staying as a unified force so that we can win.
Okay, next question is also related. If you disagree with others about a policy or decision, what's your approach to working together effectively?
in the end, whoever wins, wins. We vote on it, we make a decision, and then we move forward. Was I first?
Yeah, you were.
Okay, that's what I thought. You know, that's just part of it. It's a democracy. We make a decision and we move forward.
Ariel?
Solving conflict is the question.
Well, if you disagree about a policy or a decision, how do you work together effectively?
Yeah. I mean, there are many methods, and I don't know if the TCDC has an agreed upon conflict resolution method. But yeah, like as Lori said, it is a democracy. Is we vote on something, if it wins, we support it. You know, and that is communication. Honest communication, I think, is what we should strive for. You know, like when a member calls another member and asks about something, you know, you should have an honest conversation about it and not cut them off. We should allow for, you know, the difference of opinions, but we should also try to uphold our values and fight vigorously for them. And in the end, you know, as a democracy, we support the one that wins out by popular vote. And yeah, I have supported opinions I don't 100% agree with because that's what we're doing. So I've supported candidates I don't 100% agree with because that's what we're doing. But you know, at the end of the day, I show up and I try to do my best for the candidate that we've chosen. So that's all I got.
Okay. So switching back to more related to the position here. What do you like about how our budget is currently set up? And what would you like to see changed? I've spoken to this somewhat, but be more specific.
Yeah, kind of made my feelings of this, I think, clear in the previous questions. You know, I think it should be a little bit more available. I think it should be in a spreadsheet that's viewable online. And, you know, I think Lori's done a confident job up till now. Like she does the thing. We've had no issues. We haven't been, you know, audited, yanked, or, you know, shut down because of poor bookkeeping. You know, we have money, we do events. Like it's all running smoothly. It really is. You know, and it probably will continue to run smoothly. And I just think that there could be some changes, and I think I can implement those changes, and I think they'd be great. That's it.
Okay, so Lori, just restate, what do you like about how it's currently being set up and what would you like to see change?
Well, the like part was kind of difficult for me because I'm the one that set it up. So I probably do like the way it's going. It was pretty much that format when I took it over from Janice Essman. That's the essential way we reported things. And there have been little tweaks and little additions. And we added another column recently because people wanted to see the difference column there. And, you know, but I need, if people want to see a change, they need to tell me specifically what they want to see, how they want it to look. And, you know, and I'm certainly open if people want to give me a call and talk about it, they can do that. But, you know, they have to, but you have to have a specific thing, not just some, you know, it's very frustrating if somebody makes some statement that isn't clear as to exactly what they want to change or what they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I have can I interject?
Sure.
I have a question from the chat that I'm going to, it's directly for Ariel. So I want to put that in there, question from the chat for Ariel. And I want to put it in there to give Ariel a chance to hear it if you want to read it out loud. But that's fine. Okay, should you read it? Do you want to read it?
You can go ahead, read it. I mean,
Sure.
you're
For
perfectly
Ariel.
intelligible.
Okay, first impressions are everlasting. In reply to the first question to you in this forum, you made the treasurer's job akin to, if not merely that of a bookkeeper, juggling numbers. If I got an incorrect impression, please give a comprehensive elevator minute description of this job. So it's a clarification.
Work with Linda to determine the budget for the groups. That's what I've seen from the slides that we had to the general meeting. I work with Linda, and we'll determine the proposed numbers for all of the events and what we want to fundraise, and then put in what we do, and then we report it to the state where we get all of our money from. I'm sure there's some intricacies I'm missing here, but I'm able and willing to learn all of these intricacies of the job. Like, I didn't see a job posting for it, but I can do it.
Do I
Yeah.
answer?
And that
mean-
was specific to, it was sort of directed at Ariel, but it doesn't mean that Laurie can't comment as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Ag-
budget is actually designed by the finance committee, and the chair is an ex officio member of it. And we don't just decide how much money we want to raise. It's usually based on past fundraising and current conditions and deciding. And we usually estimate what we think we might be able to raise. It's not, so we look back at things. We look at COVID, we look at current situations, and we try to estimate what the numbers will be. And usually we make it a little conservative in our estimates, because it's better to underestimate how much money you're going to have than to overestimate it and find yourself short. So, yeah, so that's how the process of the budget is more done. And in that case, it helps to have experience and know how we've done in the past and what kinds of needs and concerns might come up.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, the next question is sounds like it was probably written by somebody younger, because it talks about deliverables. What is your approach to ensuring that you submit reports or other deliverables on time? Let's see, whose turn is it at this point?
I think I'm first, but I don't know what deliverables are. The report is,
Can you repeat that again, please, Joel? Because I didn't see that one on the list, and I want to, maybe I'm.
Oh, it's there. It's the second one down in the duties. Okay. What's your approach to ensuring that you submit reports or other deliverables on time?
I
Is it-
just do. I get the reports, I don't know which reports they mean. Do they mean we will be filed to both the federal and the state government? I do make sure those are filed on time. I have all my records in order so that when I sit down to do the report, I have all the paperwork with me and all my ducks in a row to be able to get it done on time. And when Linda tells me a little bit ahead when she wants the report ready, and I produce it. It just gets done.
So you have a system. That's your approach?
Yes, that's my approach. I have everything organized, and I have a system that I know what needs to be done when.
And Ariel, your approach?
I'm a big fan of calendars. I use calendars a lot for any of my projects. I also like to break apart the projects into quantifiable tasks and then move those along like a Kanban board. So that's my approach, is Kanban and calendars. And then bring in anybody that needs to know about a certain piece or I need help from. Alert them and then assign them to tasks and then make sure they complete them on time.
All right. Cynthia, do we have additional questions?
No, I don't have any additional questions from the chat. And I don't see any other, I think you've covered every question on this list.
I have of the pre-submitted ones. Are there questions? Is anybody anyone here present who has a question they would like to ask of the candidates at this juncture that might have been inspired by what went before, or just hasn't been addressed?
Do you want them to raise their hand? Do you want them to put it in the chat? We'd have to unmute people if you want them to be able to ask.
We could let them speak.
Okay.
Let's see if we could change. How am I supposed to know who's got their hand up if they do?
I don't see any hands raised.
Yeah. Well, then,
Closing statements.
exactly. And Lori gets to go first.
Are we going to give them 3 minutes for closing?
Yes.
I've served as treasurer of Tompkins County Democratic Committee for about 17 years. Over this time, I've gained experience that has made me a better treasurer. This is not so much a policy-making position as it is an actuarial one that requires certain skills and knowledge. My experience and knowledge of the committee and its needs enables me with the finance committee to present realistic budgets. Part of the treasurer's job is to be able to foresee problems, like we're not raising enough or we're spending too much. My experience with our past financial trends helps me see problems and advise. I keep thorough and accurate records, and I maintain compliance with state and federal election laws. Change is fine when it increases our efficiency and allows us to meet our legal and organizational needs. I've made changes throughout the years. One of those changes was setting up an ActBlue account. Since it's designed for political organizations, it gathers all the necessary information for financial disclosure. It also allows us to keep track of what people are contributing to. I can tell if people are paying dues or Victory Club. Linda can see who is responding to her chair's letter, and Susie can see who's paying for wine and cheese and summer party. ActBlue does allow people to pay using PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, Google Pay, as well as credit cards and debit cards. These payment options by themselves would not serve all our needs. I've urged town and ward to set up treasurers and register them with the State Board of Elections. It's often difficult to find treasurers because the job seems so daunting. I've had years of experience to hone my system and simplify things a bit. I've written a guide that is now on our webpage to help make this task less daunting for our town and ward treasurers. The Democratic Party is a large tent and must continue to be so. If we're to defeat big Republicans, many of whom have fascist and dictatorial tendencies that would destroy our democracy, it's more important than ever that we embrace everyone in the tent. While I agree with many of the issues espoused by many of those who have moved left of me, I'm a practical liberal and recognize the necessity for us to win. I think that my voice, coupled with my institutional memory, are important to the success of our party. A lot of our current methods have been based on trial and error. Remembering what we have done and why it didn't work keeps us from repeating errors. Remember the axiom, those who do not remember the history are doomed to repeat it. Thank you for attending, and I humbly ask for your support to continue to contribute to our democratic efforts as treasurer.
Thank you, Lori. Ariel?
And Joel, before Ariel goes, there was another question that was, just to announce it, that was asked, and maybe we can address it afterwards, after Ariel's. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your service, Lori. Yeah. Sorry, I just had a blank there. Yeah, I appreciate your time, everyone, today, and thank you for the questions. It's I think it's a core belief of mine of like rotation. 17 years is a long time. Spirit of I believe in the spirit of rotation, and just because there's someone being replaced, I mean they're being thrown out. Someone else could be in charge while still leaning on the institutional knowledge of their forebearers. That is why we have guides. That's why we have transition plans. That's why we have, contingency planning. Having the knowledge spread out and being able to look at the person that you're inheriting a position from is crucial for any organization to continue to be vibrant. Like dooming to repeat the same mistakes because you don't know your history is a huge issue. And just because someone might want to run for a position doesn't mean they want to burn the entire institution down. It means like maybe we should allow them to like bring them up and host and welcome them to the position that you were welcome to when you took it. And that's why I'm here, is because like I think like we should start bringing more people in. I do not want to be treasurer for 17 years. I would like to do it for a few years and then pass it along. And you know, just keep bringing new people in and having them be knowledgeable about this and be able to take action in a cause that they believe in. Because if they don't have that ability, how are we going to bring new people in? So that is something I hope to bring to the leadership committee and really try to have this large event that includes everyone and remembers the past. Like, because that's something we need to do. I don't think I have all of the answers. I know I don't. I know I have weaknesses, but I have the people around me to help bring me up. And that's why I'm treasurer. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks. Cynthia, we had a question come in at the, after we, yeah, you're muted. You're still muted. There you go.
Okay, I just put it in the chat so that everybody could see it, and I'll read it out loud. Question from the chat just received right after I said we would move to
Yeah.
closing. That's okay. Democrats, so it's a statement with a question. Democrats might say that their party takes the high road, while Republicans employ personal attacks, half-truths, and worse. Republicans might say that they're trying to protect their rights and way of life from attacks from Democrats. With these 2 points of view, it's difficult to find a common ground. How would you find common ground?
With Republicans?
Yes, that's the question. That's the question.
I don't understand the question.
I
Well,
don't know
that is-
either.
that is how it's written. If the person who wrote it wants to give me more, that's fine.
I mean,
Yes. Oh, I see. Okay. In answer to a previous question, both candidates talked about a similar split within TCDC. Please say more about how each side could best find common ground with the other. Okay, so this
It's
question,
internally focused. Yeah.
Mhm.
what's that?
So it's internally focused. You know, how do
It's
we?
internally focused. So the comparison is made between the Republicans, the Democrats, and the common ground, and then, you know, that each candidate did talk earlier about a similar split within TCDC. Please say more about how each side could best find common ground with the other. Okay. And I'll put that out in the chat.
All right. It's a little weird going back to questions after having had the closing comments, but this is a sort of an overriding question that might be worth having people's perspective on. You want to give a shot, Laurie?
I'm not sure how to, I think I have said it's a big tent and everybody should have a voice there. And this is part of my concern, is that Diane is one of the few that has been there a while and has one of the kind of same voices that I have. And ensuring that Diane and I are, you know, are on the officers committee. And I think it helps ensure that we have a diversity of voices there. And I do represent a diverse, some areas that aren't covered. And I'm a lesbian, and I have a disability. I have issue, you know, I have a viewpoint that isn't necessarily already on the officers committee. And I have a voice that understands the experience. And I think while we still bring in new voices, and we are bringing in some new voices this year, and we have Stacy and we have Emily coming on, I think it's important that all the voices be there if we're to really work together.
Okay. How do we? I mean, I addressed this in my closing a little bit, but consensus building and coalition building tough. Even within, you know, an organization such as ours that has very particular viewpoints, and you know, like even though we're all on the same sides, we're all on slightly different sides at the same time. You know, look at the primary; it got a little heated, and there was a lot of device in the committee at the general meeting we had, there was a lot of divisiveness in trying to endorse a candidate. And, trying to, I don't think we've fully had a conversation as a committee to discuss that at all that I've been a part of. I think there's still a lot of fractures within the committee that I see. And to have, kind of a healing moment for the committee, I think we need to all get on the same page and to all try to work as one to get behind our candidates to beat the Republican. Because as it said, they want to overturn a lot of really core institutions that I've grown up with due to your hard work before me. And I haven't seen the committee as a whole get behind our candidates right now. And it's kind of saddening. So I think we need to have a healing moment before we could really work together.
Okay, with food for thought there, which is kind of a nice note to end the forum. For those who aren't present, this helps you to form your opinions regarding which one of these two candidates you support when it comes to the election on the 22nd. Thank you all for your participation. It's been, you don't know how it was behind the scenes. It's been my great pleasure to work with the organizers of this event. And we look forward to seeing you on the 22nd.
Thank you, Joel and Catherine and Cynthia and Liz.
Thank you all.